folks, how are we? I haven't done a video for about a week. Just had a bit of time off from YouTube, really. Not for any particular reason, just taking it easy. My hand still recovering, and the weather's not been brilliant, and the lads next door on the building site have been making a racket, so that's kind of stopped me filming anyway in the week. So what are we today? Saturday the 20th, I think it is, of April. Beautiful day, really sunny, and quite warm. It's about 12 o'clock at the moment. I came out earlier, uncovered the potatoes as you saw, and a few other things as well. The rule of 10 garden challenge bed at the top there, that's getting covered up on a night as well, but I'm probably going to do a separate video on that at some point soon, because there are things now coming up. But the first job I want to get done today, today's video is going to be a bit of everything, things I've got to sort of do. And first job I'm going to do is get some of these, or all of these tomatoes potted on, and you can see there's roots coming out at the bottom of the pots now. These have been started off indoors in these little, they were in a seed tray actually. I sowed everything in a seed tray, then pricked them out into these pots, and now they need potting on again. This one is that's a red cherry, that one, and these is Crimson Crush. So I've got quite a lot of tomatoes here. Not sure where I'm going to plant them on yet, but I'm sure I'll find somewhere. So I'm going to get these potted on into this sort of size pot. What's that, probably a 3-inch pot, and then they'll be going back up to the house, because it's too cold on a night at the moment to put them out. We're getting down to single figures, sort of 4, 5, 6 degrees on a night, so I'm keeping everything covered up outside at the moment, but yeah, everything's doing well, so we'll have a look around later. But I'm going to have my brew now, and then we'll get these potted on and we'll move on to the next job. So what I'm going to do is use multi-purpose compost. This is new compost, so it's clover, peat-based compost. My favourite compost, I rate it. And I'm going to put about 1 inch in the bottom of the pot, and we'll do the Crimson Crush first. And with tomatoes, you can plant them a lot deeper if you need to. So these aren't particularly leggy, but they've reached for the light a bit. And if you can see where all those little hairs are on the stem, then by planting them deeper, it will grow more roots off the stem, and that's a way of solving the legginess, but it's also a way of making the plant more stable and encouraging a better root system. So a little bit difficult with my hand the way it is, but I'll drop that in there. Hold on to the leaves if you can, especially the seedling leaves, as opposed to the stem. And I'm going to plant it up to about the depth of the seedling leaves. So it's probably a good 1 inch or so deeper than it was. And if you note, I'm not using any vermiculite or anything like that in this mix. It's just pure compost, because the plants have now got established. They don't need that extra sort of aeration and what have you in the soil from the vermiculite. They'll be absolutely fine in plain compost. Now these was started off in spent compost from last year's potatoes, and that's given the plant enough energy to get to where it is now. But using spent compost for these to grow on further probably wouldn't have enough nutrients in the compost, in the soil. So by using some fresh compost, that will give them plenty of nutrients to carry on growing. So I'm just going to do the same again. It's going to take a while, so I'm not going to make you watch me do them all. Everything's taking a bit longer at the moment. So an update on my hand is I went to the hospital on Thursday to see the physio, because the last time I was there he gave me some exercises to do, which are basically sort of bend your fingers, make a fist, etc, etc. And he said, you haven't had the stitches out. And I was like, well, I haven't had an appointment yet to go and have the stitches out. I've got an appointment tomorrow to see the surgeon that did the operation. And he went, oh, well, they'll take the stitches out then. I said, so what are we doing today? He went, I can't do anything today. So that was a wasted trip and £5 parking fee. And so I went to see the surgeon, and one of the nurses took the stitches out for him and everything else, and they said, yeah, it's healing okay, it's doing right, but there are still quite a bit of open areas in the wound, and they said that's quite normal with Dupuytren's contracture, because it's your hand and you move your hand, obviously, even if when it's in this splint you still move your fingers about. And it's just time. But the physio said to me, well, you've worn the splint 24/7 for a week, only wear it at night now. And then when I went to see the surgeon, he said, no, you've got to wear it 24/7 for 6 weeks, and then only at night. So I was hoping to get back to some kind of normality in the next week. And that ain't gonna happen. I've got to keep wearing this as much as possible all the time for 6 weeks, so another 4 weeks. So yeah, difficult. I've got to carry on doing some work to earn a bit of money. That's obviously going to have to be very easy work, and yeah, it's driving me mad. Life's a little bit sort of boring, if you like, at the moment, because I can't do much without taking the splint off, and of course then there's a risk of infection and what have you. So it's like today, I'm having to be very careful that I don't get stuff over these fingers. Just try and use this finger and thumb. But it is what it is. I can't complain, you know. I've had the operation and my fingers are straighter. That's one thing that is good, and I can bend them, I can make a fist. Takes a few goes because they're stiff, you know, the tendons are stiff and what have you, but yeah, it's just time now. Time, and eat reasonably and sleep reasonably and rest. That's all I can do. So I'll go along, get these potted on. Oh, while I think about it, no live tomorrow night, just because I'm taking it a bit easier and chilling out a bit. And because I'm a bit behind with little jobs that I've got to do in the garden, and everything's taking me so much longer, I'm going to use this weekend just to catch up a bit, in the evenings to catch up a bit with stuff that I've got to do. So no live this week, but I'm sure it will be back the week after or the week after that. So not stopping doing them, I'm just having a little bit of a break while I catch up with stuff because of my hand. Okay, so we've got Crimson Crush here and a few there, and then we go into they've got one Ox Heart there, and then these are Tumbling Tom. Now I think I got them right. I'm not certain if I've maybe got a few mixed up between the Tumbling Tom and the Crimson Crush. Hopefully, if I have, that will become evident as they grow. Anyway, either way, we'll get some tomatoes, I'm sure. And then in this tray, we've got red cherry. So quite a few tomato plants there, all looking healthy, and they should grow on a lot better now. They're in bigger pots. So I'm just undoing the fleece over the brassicas just to see what's going on underneath. Moved the brick, and here's a leopard slug. And this is a good guy. So going to put him somewhere safe to carry on his good work eating other slugs. So what I'm going to put in this bed are pakchoi, kohlrabi and chard. And I'm going to put the pakchoi at this end of the bed, the southern end of the bed, because they're going to be shaded some of the time by the hedge. And pakchoi prefers a sort of semi-shade environment. So I'm going to put those in at this end, probably 3 across, leaving a bit more space at this side so that I can put some bricks down on top of the netting. And we'll get those in, and then we'll do the chard, and then we'll do the kohlrabi. Weed as I go. And these have got loads of roots. Yeah, a lot of roots. And they're quite dry, so getting them in this damp ground will do them good. So I'm going to start in line with the post, the hoop, because I've got to put a brick at the other side and bring the netting down. Just firm those in. Put another one here and another one here. I might even do the diamond pattern here, I think. Yeah, I think we'll do the diamond pattern, so next one I'm going to put there and then there. Yeah, we have a potato from last year. Pink fir apple. Absolutely nothing wrong with that other than I've cut it with a trowel. So next I'm going to put the chard in. So I think I'll leave that space there. That's where I've got the pakchoi to. So we'll start another row. Same spacings here for the chard. Just going to have to be careful when I put this netting over later not to squash the plants on that edge. So has anybody else noticed this year the germination of seeds doesn't seem to be that great? I've sown 12 cucumbers. Only 3 have come up, and I've had it with other crops too. Germination really seems to be quite poor, and I'm not doing anything different than I have on other years, and I'm beginning to think that a lot of seeds were left over from lockdown, and now we're getting them all in the system and we're buying old seed. I might have to water these. I didn't want to because I don't want to make it easy for the slugs, but I might have to, just a little bit around each plant because the compost in these pots is really dry and the soil isn't that wet. We've had a lot of wind and that has really dried out the ground, which is good, but obviously it means we have to start watering stuff. I've got a horrible feeling that bindweed, or mare's tail, sorry, I hope not. Yeah, definitely going to have to water these a bit. Okay, last of all, we've got kohlrabi. So, carry on, same sort of pattern. And, you know, you could plant these a lot further apart, but I'm trying to maximise the space I've got. And I can always thin them out and take whole plants a bit younger. And these are really dry. These could have been watered about 2 days ago. I'm sure, get them in the ground, give them a water, they'll be fine. And like with brassicas, plant these a bit deeper if need be. Isn't it nice to be getting young plants out into the ground? And these are running out of nutrients as well. You know, they've been in these pots too long, and I've been waiting really for the weather just to warm up a little bit on the night, and then it did, and then I had my hand done, so, and then it dropped cold again on a night, but never mind. These are all cold tolerant, you know, these plants I would call them sort of semi-hardy plants, and they'll be fine at nighttime temperatures of 5-6 degrees for a few hours. And what I'll probably do is put the netting on and then a bit of fleece as well, because giving them that extra bit of protection doesn't hurt, especially when they're small and trying to get established. Now, if I can avoid it, I don't want to wet the ground all over the bed, just around the plants. And it's just a little thing that can help the slug damage. Makes it a bit harder for the slugs to get around. Obviously the ground at this end is quite damp, but further up there it's quite a bit drier. And that's all down to the sun not being on this part of the bed so much. And this obviously helps to firm the compost down around the roots as well. So the next little job I want to do is get some lettuce planted out. And these are iceberg that I started from seed in February, I think it was. And so lots of roots coming out of the pot now, looking healthy. So I'm going to put these in here, and we're going to start with 3 across this bed, I think. Get those in, and then at the far end of the bed probably put some salad leaves. I've got 2 pots of salad leaves, and the reason is I've only got 2 is because I dropped the tray of the seedlings when they were growing, so I've got some more on that we're going to prick out in a bit. Now with lettuce, plant them about the same depth that they were before. And this has had my homemade compost put on it. As long as the slugs don't get them, it'll be good. And so, having planted out the lettuce I had in pots from my first sowing in February, I've now got these in this tray, and these were sown in March I think, and these are mixed salad leaves. So what I'm going to do now is prick these out and put those in their own little pots and just keep the cycle going. In another couple of weeks I'll probably sow some more and just keep going like that, because we like salad. We don't eat a huge amount of salad. We might maybe have it's more of a garnish for us, and a bit in some sandwiches and stuff like that. So I'll just use a pen, that's the closest thing to hand. And same as anything else that you prick out, fill the pot, make a hole, use the pen and just gently lever up the roots, put it in the hole, fill it in, and that's what I'll do for all of these. Give them a quick water and then they'll go into the cold frame and just be left to grow on, really. So I've just put in the remainder of the calabrese that I've got, and I've got all the pakchoi and chard at the end there. So this bed's pretty full now. Probably get another couple of plants in there if I had to. Bit of space, which I'm sure I'll fill. But I've got some more cauliflower and cabbage coming on as seedlings, because I'm probably going to lose some of these plants either to slugs or a leather jacket, anything like that, and it's always best to have some backups. So there we go, guys. We've got these ones have been checked and covered over again, and we've got a whole new bed planted there. Chard, kohlrabi, calabrese, pakchoi, and we've moved the tomatoes on, etc. Garlic's looking good down the centre there. Potatoes are coming up now, early ones, and not a lot left now in the cold frame. There's the lettuce that I pricked out. Got some Savoy cabbage there and cauliflower just starting to come up. Beetroot, a couple of kale spares. I've still got the onion spares and the leeks. I do need to put some of the leeks in. Birds have been pulling those out. And broad beans are on their way, so I'll be getting those out again soon. Yeah, onions are all under here, they're doing okay. Check the forecast, it says 6 degrees tonight, so I'm not going to panic too much. All of this stuff's hardy, but of course the forecast can be wrong, so they've only got to be wrong by a couple of degrees and then you've got a frost, potentially. So yeah, err on the side of caution. I could put fleece over these as well, but I think it'd be okay. And this netting does help protect things from the frost. The moisture seems to freeze in the holes rather than getting through to the plant, but it doesn't help with the temperature, I don't think, whereas fleece does. But everything that's in there is hardy anyway. So I will leave it now. It's about 6 o'clock, I would think. It's been a lovely day out here, really enjoyed it. And I'll come out later, pull this tarp over the potato pots just as a insurance policy, and I'll be back out here tomorrow. So thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please give it the thumbs up, that really helps the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet and you like this sort of content, then please do. And oh, by the way, I've started a patrons page as well, so there's a link to that down in the description if you would like to support the channel some more. Cheers, guys.